That's right. Once again, you're probably sitting out there and you're going, "What is going on?" There is nothing coming through. Ryan, you got to remind me to hit the go live button. I had too many buttons, too many things to think about there. I am so sorry. Hey, we appreciate it. It's Tuesday, June 11th. I've already done a monologue. So we're going to try to repeat what I've kind of done. And there's no way I'm going to capture all of it. But thank you for coming on here Tuesday. 4 to 5, we're live. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble. I think I must have gotten a message. Hold on, let me see. Oh, that was my wife. She was calling me to tell me that I probably wasn't live. Yes, I do know that. The comment section is on. So all of you who want to make fun of me, please do, because I am going to make fun of myself. I obviously didn't hit the go live button, which is important because if you're live and you're just talking like you're live, Ryan's getting too much of a kick out of this. But I said so much in such a short period of time. I don't know if I can go ahead and repeat that. Oh my goodness, man! I was on a roll, wasn't I, Ryan? Hold on, I'm just gonna. I'm gonna forget the monologue now. Ryan, what?
Well,
Ryan,
the first
you can help me remember some of that was
the
that.
first
I
couple
think it was
minutes
one of like
in,
the best monologue I've ever
yeah, I was probably one of your best monologues yet. And just off the cuff, I'm enjoying it. And I look up, and it's been about a couple minutes in, and I'm like, I don't think he's live.
given.
Welcome to the DPB show live.
I even made the monologue about that.
Yeah.
Welcome to the DB show. So let me golly. I've done it a couple times now. I promise you, folks, I wish I could, it was so awesome. And I'm going to try to repeat some of it because it's serious stuff. You know, we have a time in history like no other. And Ryan and I were talking about it earlier that if you go to my Facebook page, you will see on my personal page that I have the flag, upside down American flag, means that we're a country in distress. And we have many people who are coming hard at us, and of course none of them are like-minded, and they obviously disagree with it. They think it's disrespectful to our veterans. I say, oh, to the contrary. If people don't realize that we are a nation in distress, especially in light of everything that's gone on at the southern border, our economy, and our school systems, in Hollywood, international stage, the fact we have Joe Biden, we have fake trials in New York City and in Georgia. This country is in distress, and I'm not going to take it down. I don't care who says to take it down.
No,
I'm sorry. I appreciate Dan Bongino and selling these T-shirts of the distressed flag, upside down flag, American flag. You can get it in white and blue. Go out to the Bongino store, and it basically says I'm voting for the outlaw. But there's a reason for that, and we're going to hit upon some of that today in our show because I've got JB Pritzker going full name calling. You talk about Trump. Trump is the master, obviously, of walking around these things, but JB's trying to duplicate Trump, and he has to read it off of a script because the guy's not authentic. He's a liar. I mean, that's the extreme of what I'm going to do in name calling because it's not name calling. JB is a liar. Darren Bailey called him a liar on the debate stage. They can't defend that. In fact, here's how they defend it. Eric Sorensen, Congressman Eric Sorensen out of the 17th Congressional District of Illinois. I went on his page because he had this meme that he put up of a wolf addressing the sheep and said, I promise you I'm going to become a vegetarian. I promise you I'll be a vegetarian or become a vegetarian. And it was totally aimed at Trump because that's what they do now, right? Everything is name calling. Everything is telling us how much extremists we are. In fact, I'm not even going to belabor that. I'm going to let JB tell you what kind of people we are and how they view. And that's all I said to Eric Sorensen on his Facebook page is, hey, you're the congressman of the 17th Congressional District. That includes everyone, people you agree with and people you don't agree with. Be welcoming. And he had the audacity as the author, and I knew it was him, it wasn't his staff member, he came back and said, as soon as you're respectful to the flag, how The old saying, shut the front door. Eric Sorensen, you're talking about being respectful to the flag
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
light of how you have disrespected the flag through the supporting people kneeling, not standing for the
Yeah.
national anthem. You promote every other flag but the United States of Americans flag.
Yeah.
Eric Sorensen, we're a nation in distress, or at least you know that there are people who believe we're a nation in distress. You should be reaching across the aisle and trying to figure out why this is happening, because Eric, I got a noise for you that I want you to hear, and I don't know if you're going to hear this or not, but I hope you do. Choo choo. The freight train's coming, and you're lying on the tracks.
Yep.
You better get up and start engaging the people that you represent. But anyhow, I don't do the name calling. I'll leave that up to JB. I don't do the disrespecting. They're going to do that. Once again, why are they doing it? Because they're fearful.
Yeah.
They are fearful. Everything that
Only
they
reason why they
believe,
do it. They're
that's
afraid.
the only reason. It's fear.
Yep.
And, everything that they have done over the past 4 years, and they tell us that we're doing it, well, we are going to be doing that. This time next year, we are going to be full-fledged, full throttle, I should say, on everything that they say that we're going to do. We're going to
Yep.
do those
We're
things.
gonna do it.
Because we're going to make America great again. And
Yep.
part of making America great again is taking back what they have disrupted. We are going to be energy independent again. We are going to turn this economy around. We are going to deport illegal immigrants. We are going to have safe streets again. We are going to have good school systems again. We are going to take back the American way. Why? Because it's been hijacked by the socialist, communist, progressives on the left. The radical left has dominated the airways. And that's what I want to talk about today. Other than showing you some of these clips, action. This is what we need to do to fortify and mobilize everybody. Ryan and I had the opportunity to be in meetings last night with McLean County Republicans. McLean County Republicans, for those of you who are not from Illinois or Central Illinois, McLean County happens to be one of the largest landmass counties in Illinois. It happens to be right in the heart of Illinois. In fact, when you look at a map, Illinois is shaped as a heart. And that's why I think it's so important to stand and fight for Illinois, because so goes Illinois, so goes the rest of the country. You've got the left coast and you got the right coast. You've got Hochul on one coast, Newsom on the other. And yes, they want to divide and conquer. They want to do it through the largest population density areas in the nation. And we, in the flyover areas, in what I call true America, we need to be standing up and taking action. And as I started to say, Ryan can attest to this. I was challenging everyone that are precinct committee people in the McLean County precinct committee meeting last night to realize this.
Yep.
Guys, don't take your eye off the ball. Don't get caught up in election integrity 2020, the voting machines, all of those things. What people think about Trump, all of the
Those are all little in the grand scheme of things of what we're doing.
Well, very little. And here's the reason why, Ryan, is because, as I said, Illinois is not going to go for Trump. The Electoral College or the electoral votes in Illinois are not going to go for Trump. What we can do is we can send a message. We can move the needle in Illinois. If we can get under double digits, so if we can get into 9 points away from Biden, that's going to send a resounding message throughout the country. And that's what we should be working on. Now, granted, it's interesting to find out all of the inside baseball of how the Democrats are planning on having illegal immigrants vote, if that's, or try to attempt to vote, because I thought it was interesting, Ryan, I'm sure you did, that it's not illegal to register to vote. It's only illegal if you actually vote.
Yeah.
So if you go to a bank and you rob it, but you don't actually rob it because they don't give you any money and you walk out, have you not just tried to rob the bank?
It's an attempt and it's still illegal, right? It would go to as an attempt. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love the nuances of what they come up with. But needless to say, they're going to go right back to the same plan that they had in 2020. They need to go back to it. And that is basically stuffing the ballot box
Yeah, they will do it again.
and finding out what they need in the middle of the night, because as you know, yours truly was covering the news of the evening that will live in infamy, the night where the election stopped, in order to make sure that we could change the outcome.
Unprecedented actions that
Never
nothing like it before, that never has happened. When you're watching live TV and you see at the bottom of the chyron of these channels that votes are dropping from one candidate and continuing to be added to the other candidate. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because they're manipulating the numbers in live time. Nobody shuts down randomly at 10 o'clock at night and says, oh, we're going to go ahead and close and open tomorrow. No, you count everything that night. That's what happens. These random stories of water main breaks and, oh, well, the machines were down. People couldn't get in to vote because the machines were down to register. All of this is why the game has changed for Trump and the campaign this time around. We've seen it. He's learned from his lessons. Where we used to be a party of rules and you vote on election day, you can't do that. We need to have all hands on deck, and you need to play by their game to change the rules. All hands on deck right now means you vote as soon as early voting takes place. And you go ahead. That way you don't have an excuse and say, oh, I couldn't get off work until late. Oh, my registration was off. I couldn't vote. Get out early and vote before election day. And then you don't have to worry about it.
I'm reading my text message. Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you need to hit the live button? Question mark. My wife.
Yeah.
Nothing live yet. Rumble is queued, but not X. Hold on. What did my wife say? They love the new self-righteous virtue signaling of condemning the upside down flag. The reason behind the very flag that people fought and died for is being eradicated in front of our eyes more than ever before.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I have never condemned anybody for their service. I'm one of the biggest supporters of law enforcement and military personnel. I have friends and family that are still in the military, and I have friends and family that are veterans now currently. Some of them have passed away due to unforeseen circumstances dealing with it. I am one of the biggest supporters of our military. And to sit there and accuse somebody of being disrespectful because they feel like the country is in distress of what's going on, that really shows more about you than it does to me. That's just the way it is. It's ignorance on the part of the individual at that point.
Well, and ultimately, I also find it interesting, and this is another conversation, and I know I've got plenty of tabs opened up and things I want to get to, and I wish I could say, Mr. Producer, hit those. But your wife said, what was it, Ryan? The Pelosi called us on the news.
There's a new name that she called us. Some videos that were coming out about
January. They're coming out with January
Trump
6th.
and the toadies. We are toadies now.
We're toadies, yeah, the toadies. Which once again, they're masters at the name calling. They talk about Trump doing the name calling, but they themselves are name calling. All right, Ryan, I think that I didn't quite do justice with the monologue and the opening, but we did hit upon a lot of it. So let me get back where I think I finally realized that we weren't live. And that was the name of the show today is Signs Everywhere Are Trump 2024 Signs. And what I mean by that, everywhere is a Trump. Here, I'm going to go live. I'm going to pretend like it's a monologue again, Ryan. So everywhere is a sign. You look at it, whether it's the hearings, whether it's the Hunter Biden hearings and the verdict for Hunter Biden, the fake trials of New York City and Georgia. Obviously, those are playing out. Whether it's the U.S. border, whether it's the economy, whether it's our educational system, whether it's this one you're going to like because it's signs everywhere, a sign. I'm actually talking about physical signs. I'm talking about Trump 2024 signs. I have a big goal. I want to distribute 5, and I'm doing this in collaboration with the McLean County Republican Party. Ryan was there last night when I had an ask to get money in order to purchase signs. And And we did that. I already knew that I in faith, I stepped out. I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and order these, and I'm going to make it happen because I believe that's what we need to do here in my county. And I want you to do it in your county too. Every county across the United States, I think there's roughly like 3,400 counties across the United States. You should be actively mobilizing to turn your county Trump 2024. And I want to do that. So I've got signs. Hold on, I'm going to add it to the stage. There it is.
Yep.
They're not $200. Hold on, I need a
Yeah, for a generous
I-
donation of 200.
they are a donation. I'm doing it for $10. A Trump yard sign for $10. Hold on, let me see if I can blow that up and get rid of this over here. Hold on. I think I can. Oh, come on. No, it's not going to do it. Okay. Just disregard.
Yeah, this is for aesthetics purpose only.
This
Yeah.
this is just this is the way the sign looks. So you can get it, and it's not that 200 thing is really getting crazy. I should have crop the image. Laugh
There
out
you go.
loud. I'm
That's
trying
right.
to crop the image. You think I can do that on the fly? Hold on. Oh, there it is. Hold on. I think I did it. Amanda, you're right. I think I can crop the image. Hold on. Is it right click? Okay. You know what? I could spend all day.
Anyway, I think most people can figure it out. The
Okay,
signs are
most people-
posted. We have pictures of them. They're out there. A donation, the smallest ones are $10, and go on about the other two.
4x4, $75, and you can get a 4x8. Man, that's a gargantuan sign. Now, granted, in my county, it's unique because in certain areas, like the town of Normal, you can't have a 4x4, but you can have a 4x4 in Bloomington. But anywhere outside of the corporate limits of Bloomington or Normal, you can have the biggest sign you want.
Yep.
And I've got those. Those are $100 actually. That's a little break from a 4x4. 48 by 48 inches. You now go to 48 by 96 inches, which is huge. But to send the message of Trump 2024, this is what we're going to do. We're going to flood the zone. As Trump is saying, this is too, it's too big to rig. We want to be too big to rig, swamp the vote. We talked about swamp the vote on the last show. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to mobilize people. We're going to get active. We've got to. We don't have a choice. We're seeing it happen in a lot of other states. I know that many people have said, why don't we do a Trump rally here in my own home county? And we did do a big Trump event in 2020. We had 1,200 people at the Corn Crib. Yes, I am looking at orchestrating something similar to that before election day. But as Ryan just alluded to, Trump has turned 180 on this thing. Folks, we know we can't lose any of the ballots this time around. We also know we've got to go back into the poll precincts. We already know that they're not going to be putting cardboard up over the windows anymore. They've been found out. How that ever happened in a fair and free society with elections, that was total kabuki.
The most secure.
Yeah, the most secure. Yeah, because we're going to put covers over the windows and make sure Joe Biden gets 81 million votes. But we need everybody. We need you to go out, get a sign. There's plenty of them. Like I said, I will sell as many signs as I can get. Will all y'all send me some articles for the Trump trial? That's Hannah, and Hannah's actually texting me right now. I thought maybe she's watching the show. I should say, Hannah, we're actually live, but she always forgets that we go live 4 to 5. She is just so amped up about the Hunter Biden thing. And it's cool to have a daughter who is so conservative that she just gets passionate about this and just goes all in. And this is something else we talked about last night, right? Ryan, despite the flame throwing, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to go scorched earth on us. And that's what I want to share with you, because I told you I was going to get to the JB Pritzker thing, because if ever you would see scorched earth, here it is. It's JB Pritzker right here in full-fledged JB Pritzker style. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna have to start it over again. But hold on. JB, stop talking. I gotta set you up right. Okay, there you go. Hold on. Let me add you to the stage, JB, before you go bloviating. Here you go. Ready?
He looks lovely.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get to him here. There we go. Okay, JB, and
Donald Trump is a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist, and a congenital liar. He's a racist, sexist, misogynistic narcissist who wants to use the levers of power.
The levers of power,
enrich
like you did,
himself,
JB, to shut down the entire
anyone
state.
who dares speak a word against him. He has stolen state secrets, compromised our national security, betrayed our Constitution, and sacrificed the truth to further his own naked ambition.
Don't forget about you on the FBI recorded line, JB.
Own naked ambitions. I'd like to see that.
On others for his own misdeeds. He'll claim credit for things that he never touched. He'll lie and he'll ramble. Donald Trump is a convicted felon,
it's worth a replay,
adjudicated rapist, and a congenital liar. He's a racist, sexist, misogynistic narcissist who wants to use the levers of power to enrich himself and punish.
Is JB doing an audition for president?
A word against him.
I think so.
JB, can you look? Can you stop looking down? JB, can you actually
betrayed our
you
Constitution
need a teleprompter,
sacrifice
JB.
the truth to further his own naked
He's
ambition.
racist and sexist and bigoted and
the Republican convention, he'll cast blame on others for
what?
his own misdeeds.
Okay.
He'll claim
Oh
credit.
my gosh. How many words did he describe him?
Yeah. That's, I mean, like I said, signs everywhere, a sign. And I'm not just talking about the cool Trump 2024 signs that yes, yours truly will be distributing. I'm not handing them out because we've got a lot of work to do. And the dollars that we're taking in, it's not coming into my bank account. They're going straight to other people who are running tough races in my local county for county board members. We are trying to get donations, $10 for a yard sign, $75 for a 4x4. And the bigger ones, the gigantic signs 4x8, those are $100. So you get a little price break going from a 4x4 to a 4x8. But we're just trying to raise money so we can support conservative grassroots candidates right here in McLean County, so we don't find ourselves with a Democrat-led county board in McLean County for the first time. And I don't know how long. I don't know if it's ever happened. I don't think it has. But if it has, it's in the Wayback Machine. But that's what we're trying to accomplish. But not only that, signs everywhere, a sign. We're seeing it played out right before our eyes. JB, Nancy Pelosi. I don't have the clips from Nancy, but I know that was recently uncovered, and a lot of other people are hitting upon that. I know that Bongino put it on his show today. It's out there. Nancy Pelosi caught audibly telling people that she made a mistake with the National Guard, admitting that the National Guard should have been brought in on January 6th to stop whatever happened there. But we know they didn't. Why wasn't the National Guard there? Because they didn't want the National Guard there.
The two reasons that Dan said, right? The one reason they don't want the National Guard there because Trump could use the National Guard to his advantage and stay in power. The other reason is that so they don't use the National Guard, they don't call them up, they let January 6th happen, they let the riot happen, and then they just roll with that and using that as their play as well. So it's a double-edged sword. They have it both ways. They can use the message to their advantage either way.
Well, and you're right, and that's what they're going to be caught. I mean, this all is going to be uncovered. And where are you going to be, Adam Kinzinger, when this all comes around?
He's gonna be crying.
Disgraced Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, all of these folks. And that was part of our meeting last night too. And I know you saw this, Ryan. Is we have too many people trying to master in the minimums rather than mastering the maximums. We've got to move the needle, folks. We don't have a lot of time. I was just looking to see what exactly, and I have it here because I'm getting messages from my friend Kim Miller. So basically, we're 105 days early voting starts in 105 days.
Yep.
And as
105.
I started to say, President Trump has done a 180 on this. Whatever it takes, get to the ballot
Yep.
box. And whether that's early voting, whether that's vote by mail, whether that's election day voting, we've got to do it all. We can't. And that's what Trump is saying. At first, I understand there was a push. And, I think that was a little rope-de-dope because he didn't want to see us come out too early because right now I don't have a plan. As I said,
Mhm.
there's a reason that J.B. Pritzker is out there sounding like he's trying to run for president, which it's only
Yep.
sounding like his because he can't even get a teleprompter to read his gross attacks on the former president of the United States. Never in the history
Yeah.
of our land has someone who is a governor of a state. I mean, it's one thing to disagree with people like the
Yeah.
Lincoln Douglas debates. It's
Yep.
one thing to disagree on policy,
Yeah.
but when you're just out there gaslighting and flame throwing and saying everything for the most
Yeah.
part that you are guilty of, JB, you've got no street credibility whatsoever. You're a joke.
Mhm.
And Eric Sorensen, he's a joke too.
Yep.
And see, when I name call, that's what I say. You're a joke because you're not serious people.
Yeah.
How can anybody take you seriously when you're coming out? JB, you are in charge of one of the most failed states in the union economically, but yet you come out day after day after day after day, just like Joe Biden and just like many other Democrat socialists, and say, no, things have never been better. We're going
Yep.
to new horizons. We're going
Big
to
things for Illinois in store.
a land of make-believe, not the land of Lincoln, but the land of make-believe. We're going to confuse you. We're going to lie to you. We're going to tell you that things are really much better than what we're seeing right before our eyes. That's why I'm saying the signs everywhere, a sign. You don't have to go very far. It's right before our faces, whether it's at the gas pump, whether it's at the grocery store, whether it's the kids coming home from school without the ability to read and write to grade level.
Mhm.
It's looking at the entire street crime that's going on,
Yeah.
weaponizing the street thugs and
Yep.
illegal immigrants in order to make sure that you have them in the wings for whatever you have in store for when you lose power.
Yeah.
See, we knew you had to steal it to get it, and you don't like the fact that we are taking it back in the American way.
Yep. Whatever is
We're
important to you as a voter, whether you voted in every presidential election since you've been able to vote, or you vote in every election period, find the issues that are important to you because everybody's different. Find the ones that are most important to you. I had a conversation with my brother earlier today. What's most important to you coming up to vote? And his answer was pro-life. If
Yeah.
those are the issues important to you, vote like your life is on the line because it is. This is not a scare tactic. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. That this is probably one of the most important elections of our lifetime. And I know we say it a lot, but it really is. We may or may not have any more elections after this election because Democrats will seize every opportunity to make sure they are the only power in charge.
Well, they're already working on it, right? That's what we
Yeah.
know. I was just
Yeah.
pulling up the hot truths on Truth Social right
But
now, and
democracy, right?
here's the democracy. Here's 6 hours
Ukraine
ago.
canceled democracy their elections because the war was still going on, but democracy.
So Trump 6 hours ago on Truth Social, the fake news Washington Post came up with the ridiculous idea that Donald J. Trump will be called for mandatory military service. This is only a continuation of their 8-year failed attempt to damage me with 8 years. So that's another thing that is just
Mhm.
mind-boggling, folks. They have been analyzing this man down to locker room conversations, tapes. They have analyzed every move this guy has made,
Yep.
and all they can come up with is fake crimes.
Yeah.
It's so
All they
let me
got.
go on. So 8 years of attempt to damage me with the voters. The story is completely untrue. In fact, I never even thought of that idea, only to degenerate the degenerate former newspaper, which has lost 50% of its readers. I love how he always pulls out the facts and just goes at them economically. What has their reporting led to? What
Yeah.
have they become since they started down the path of trying to get Trump, to
Yeah.
destroy Trump? They basically have lost half of their business. I can't believe that Jeff Bezos, the owner of Washington Post, which is another reason why I'm really hesitant ever to order anything from Amazon, because
Yeah.
it's a coup d'etat. You're looking at a cartel in of itself.
Yep.
These people are all friendly on the world stage with other extremists. When they talk about extremists, globalists are extremists.
Yeah.
What they want to see happen is extreme. But that is evidence. Obviously, Trump calling that out. I don't know why I had that up. Maybe it was some other reason. I think it was because I wanted to deal more in with what Trump was actually doing on his current post, because he said something. You probably are seeing me scroll through that. I mean, the stuff is just you can't stop, because everywhere you look, there is a sign around you. Hence the theme of the song, or the show today, and the song, because it is a song. My wife will tell you I speak in lyrics. Let me get back over here. Your wife is very active on the chat, so I wanted to make sure. Let's see. Amanda says, what was it Ryan Pelosi called us on the news? Got that one. Crop the image together. Hold on. This one's good. Take out log out of your eye, Pritzker, before trying to put for others. I got it. But the signs are out there. You go out, connect the dots. Once again, we want an action plan. And that's what Ryan and I were doing last night. Ryan is a new precinct committeeman. Tell the audience about that, Ryan.
Yeah, I am newly appointed in the Gridley precincts.
Well, not officially, because they
Not
want to give you an
officially,
opportunity to take a test run at it. It's up to
but I
Ryan
have been
whether he wants to stand
selected
as a precinct
to
committee.
help out in the Gridley precincts, precinct 1 right now currently. And I am on the ground getting in touch with voters and reaching out to them to see what their biggest issues are before the election. And that's kind of where the boots hit the ground. That's where we get the information to the candidates so they can go forward and put out their campaign message before the election.
And you were just saying you talked with your brother, and I
Yeah.
wasn't tuned into that, because I don't know where my mind was going. Obviously, it's a dangerous place at times.
Yep.
But that's right, Ryan. That's part of this swamp the vote. That's part of this getting people out, mobilizing. I know it's one thing. My wife and I talk about this often. In fact, we talk about it all the time. It seems to be not all the time, but you know what I'm saying. We talk about it a lot. It's action.
Yep.
When people are willing to sit and tell people what we should be doing, rather than leading the charge. You know what? I'm not concerned about anybody that's actively doing something. Now, granted, there are things we can do that actually hurt and don't help. And I don't want you to do those things. I
Right.
don't want you to hurt the image of what is the branding of what we are. We're Americans. We
Mhm.
are the people. We are we people. In fact, I think I've got something here that says it best. And that is, let's see here if it's there. It is. I'm going to share it. Look at that. I'm just amazing myself at times. I'm mastering this stuff. This says it all. They are not after me. They're after you. I'm
Yep.
just standing in the way. And this isn't any worship, idol worship. Trump is not my savior. Trump is
Mhm.
going to be the next president of the United States. He is somebody that I side with because he believes in what's most important to me. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
What is most important to me
Yep.
versus what is most important to you as a voter. I'm concerned about the future of our nation.
Yeah.
The debt that's been accumulated, the fact that we have an open border, the fact that we have an energy crisis, the fact that we're trying to tool the entire global economy around a pipe dream without having built out the infrastructure in order to offload and switch over to other means of renewable energy. I'm not saying renewable energy is bad. The fact
Right.
that we currently have many wars going on, I mean, there's just a plethora, but reasons are different from everybody. But
Yeah.
fortifying it, because that's what this is about, and that's where it starts. Ryan, you started hitting upon it with the
Yeah.
precinct committeemen, and that's where it starts. It's the ground game. It's why they're messaging to the ground game, and many people are mobilizing. It's kind of cool to see people from all walks of life. All walks of life. Once again, that's how I describe it. I don't have to
Yeah.
call out race, creed, color,
Yeah.
ethnicity, religion, and all the ways that the Democrat, socialist, Marxist, communist try to identify us. I guess, is it wrong? Is it name calling to call them that? Because that's truly what they are. I mean, it's just they don't embrace it.
It's an ideology they embrace. That's who they are. They're not even hiding anymore. They are truly communist individuals. We talked about it many times before. The two main party system in this country, liberals, conservatives, they vote Democrat, Republican because under those two umbrellas. They used to have shared ideals on one track to get the country back on track on their goals. They just had different means to get there. There's no recognizable difference anymore between the two. Democrats have become the party of progressive ideals, the way back to FDR, even more progressive than he was. The idea that a man can be a woman can be a man, that queens can read to kids, that it's okay for to be less white suddenly and be racist against white people all of a sudden. This is what DEI and Marxists and this is what their ideology does. It's garbage. And that's not the Democrat Party. It's not American way of life. And that's the
Well,
difference. It's not even left or right anymore. It's right versus wrong. Republicans are always um, wrong in some of their ways too, but this is not a left or right issue. This is a good versus evil issue. And if you're a sane, moderate person and looking at this, don't look at Trump, don't look at Biden, don't look at some of the other things they're putting out there in the media. Look at your values and what matters to you most and vote. If you like high gas prices, then continue to vote for these kinds of policies. But if you are a sane individual who works hard, likes to have more money in their paycheck, and doesn't want their kids abused in the classrooms, then it's kind of common sense who you should be voting for. The
well,
party that
speaking of
stands for life, the party that stands against the indoctrination of your kids, and the party that stands for law and order is the Republican Party. By and large, they are flawed, but that's the party I'm going to go with.
I love the fact that you brought up DEI, because you hear a lot of that from everyone throughout the
Yeah,
Democrat Party.
I'm
Their
so tired of
DEI is
Yeah.
everything about who they are: diversity,
Yeah.
equity, inclusion. Really? Well, I've got a different take on that, and here it is. I'm going to bring him on stage, and I don't think I've got his
Yeah.
volume on, but don't worry, I'm going to get his volume on here. Let me find him here. Oh, there it is.
What
Hold
my
on.
version of DEI is. It's something that America desperately needs to bring back. Three things that America desperately needs to bring back: to its government, to its education, to its businesses, to its industry, to every corner. Three words that need to be brought back in this country. And those words are these: discipline, excellence, and intelligence. That is what needs to come back to America.
Yep.
Yeah, it needs to come back. And if you're wondering who that was, that's Mark Robinson. You can go out and YouTube Mark. He did an amazing presentation at a city council meeting in North Carolina. It's been about 8 years ago now, I think 6 or 8 years ago. Mark Robinson, as a factory worker, went to city council, talked about the gun ban that was coming and how they were going to take his guns away. But he said, I'm a law-abiding citizen. If you make it illegal for me to possess my guns, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to turn my guns in. But I'm going to tell you who's not going to turn their guns in.
Absolutely.
The Bloods and the Crips. Well, needless to say, long story short, Mark Robinson is now the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. It goes to show, you want to talk about grassroots and everything that we've been talking about here today on the DPB show. And once again, like, share, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We want to message to the people within Central Illinois and beyond. what is important. And Mark Robinson's doing that. Lieutenant governor, now running for governor. And he just hit it right there between the eyes. You want to hear what DEI really stands for, or what it should stand for? Discipline, excellence, intelligence. When are we going to get back to that? We're not the party, the Republican Party, of identity politics. We're not the party of division. We're the party of unity. We're the party that wants to advance society. We want better roads. We want safer streets. We want better school systems. We want clean water. We want alternate renewable sources of energy. We want people to be taken care of, not only in the United States, but abroad.
Yep.
We're not here to do anything but to provide for the common defense of our nation. And what the Constitution behind my left shoulder states, that we are born with rights that were given to us by God. And we believe that to be true for everyone, not just people in the United States, throughout the world. And unfortunately, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And you know, I did pick up Bongino's show today, and because it's one of the favorite things I do during the day. But Bongino talks about the spiritual awareness that he's come to, and once again, there's both the spiritual and the physical realms that we operate in, and as you become closer and closer to understanding that there are two realms, you realize that you've had close encounters in many ways, and that there are demons, and people are demon possessed. If you want to know what demon possession looks like, hold on, let me get him back on stage for you. You want to see what demon possession looks like? I'm gonna show it to you. Let me get to it here. I think I still have it up. Yeah, I do. Let's see here. I think I've lost it off the thing, but I will bring. Here's demon possession right here.
Donald Trump is a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist, and a congenital liar. He's a racist, sexist, misogynistic narcissist who wants to use the levers of power to enrich himself and punish.
Hold on. I just had a thought. I couldn't help but think about this. Didn't that kind of remind you? Do you remember? Do you remember Christmas Vacation?
Yeah.
When Chevy started going off on his boss.
Yep. Yeah.
After drinking too many eggnogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just couldn't help but think about this. Here's JB Pritzker's impression of Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation. I digress. Let me go back to turning him back on. Okay.
Anyone who dares speak a word against him.
Yeah.
He has stolen state secrets.
Compromised
our national security.
Compromised.
Betrayed our Constitution and sacrificed the truth to further his own naked ambition.
Naked ambitions.
When Trump comes to Milwaukee,
I don't know if I want to see
convention,
Pritzker's
he'll
naked
cast blame
ambitions.
on others for his own misdeeds. He'll claim credit for things that he never touched. He'll lie and he'll ramble. Donald Trump is a convicted felon, an adjudicated
I think
rapist,
Trump should
and
put
a
this up.
congenital liar.
I think Trump should just put this
He's a
up as an advertisement. You want to talk about knocking it out of the ballpark? That in of itself is the best commercial, because these people are unhinged. They've lost their collective minds. This is all they have. If you don't believe that, and once again, I don't want to belabor this too much, because I know that this show is about action. Actionable steps we can take to, rather than just ranting and raving and about what is wrong with America, because we already know America's in a nation in distress, hence the flag and why I keep the upside down flag. I could change the flag around behind me, but I won't do that. I guess I could, the one back, the blue flag, I could hang upside down. It's kind of hanging upside down, but I want true actionable steps of what we can and can't do moving forward. And one of those things we can do, and Ryan knows what's coming next, I'm sure, is you can get yourself your very own sign, Trump sign. And that, whether it's from me or from anybody else, There are plenty of options out there. They call themselves communist and Marxist. You're right. My wife is
Yep.
spot on. They
They don't
call
hide it.
they call themselves that. But you can get a sign. At the very least, if all you do this election season is to have a sign displayed in your front yard or in a farm or wherever you have access to displaying a sign, if you have a Trump sign up, granted, there are going to be plenty of signs stolen. That's what they do. Once again, they come to kill, steal, and destroy. So, of course, they're going to steal signs. They're going to damage the signs. And as they keep knocking them down, we're going to keep putting them up. So, libs, just know this, that we've got plenty of signs. Like I said, I'll just keep purchasing more and more. Not because I'm going to make any money, because that's not what the intention is. It's not to make money. It's to, once again, paint the entire country, as I'm knocking things over, paint the entire country Trump.
Yep.
Trump 2024. No, Trump isn't my savior. Jesus Christ is my savior. Trump isn't my president. And he should have been my president right now, and we wouldn't be in the current state of distress that we are in. It only took Joe Biden 3 short years. Actually, it only took him really 100 days in office.
All he had to do was leave it on a platter as is and just coast, which he's usually doing anyway. But all he had to do was just leave it alone. But this, I mean, how bad is it yet? Maybe it's bad enough for people to realize what's going on, and maybe they'll change their mind.
Okay. So I'm just going through my head, looking here, my notes, exactly what we wanted to get to. We covered Eric Sorensen, congressman of the 17th Congressional District. Go out there, his homepage, because that in of itself is a picture. For anyone that's in Illinois, and you might not be in the 17th Congressional District, it encompasses a little bit of Bloomington Normal, Peoria, Tazewell County, Woodford County, shoots across through Knox County, goes up to Rock Island County. Then it takes a turn north, goes straight over into Rockford, Winnebago County. Mostly it takes all of the densely populated areas to create the district. It is what we term in the inside baseball a +2, +3 district, meaning that there's an advantage to the Democrats in the way that they gerrymandered and basically drew the maps, unfair maps, not fair maps, but unfair maps. But Eric Sorensen was able to take over the congressional seat that Sherry Bustos, which is the gal that I told you about, that was on this forum with Darren Bailey last week, where she proclaimed that Joe Biden was a good family man. That goes to show you how delusional and deranged these people are.
Well, and you need to call him out, though, because you're kind of not giving him justice. He is the first openly gay weatherman to be in the congressional office.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
you gotta tell him that, because that's what he goes by.
Well, and I get it. So does Jean-Pierre Van Damme. She, the press secretary, and but see, I don't get. But that's what I'm saying. I don't get into the name calling. That they do the identity politics. I don't care. As we covered on the last show, your sin is your sin. I'm not responsible for handling the sins of you. I've got my own sins to
I will do your dirty work for you, DPB.
You do a good job of doing that, Ryan. But Eric Sorensen, the point that I wanted to get is, go to his social media page, Facebook page. The guy never talks about policy, never talks about energy, never talks about economics. He never talks about the education system, never talks about the border, never talks about international affairs, any of the wars. He doesn't call out these campuses where they are going out and rightfully, or I should say, and proclaiming in an unrighteous manner, killing of an entire group of people, mostly Jews and Zionists is what they like to call them. That's right. Eric does a very poor job of actually being a congressman. In fact, he's terrible. I don't know what he was like as a weatherman, but he sure isn't a very good congressman.
Got paid to do a really bad job at telling what the weather was, too.
Well, and I'd love for Eric Sorensen. In fact, I'm going to invite him. I haven't gone back and commented. I just put the one comment out. You need to be welcoming. So with that, Eric Sorensen, I hope this gets to your ears. I'm more than welcoming you to the DPB show. I would like to have open conversation and dialogue like they back in the days of Stevens and Douglas,
Yeah.
the Douglas or Lincoln Douglas debates. I was trying to get Stephen Douglas the whole thing out there, but I'd love to have a conversation. I open this mic to anybody that can rationally come on here and talk in a manner that and I believe Eric would try to do that. I mean, I know that I
Yeah.
don't follow the guy a lot, but I just get tired of seeing over and over the people who are supposed to represent us,
Yep.
everyone, take a side in partisan politics and politicizing everything and weaponizing everything. Enough is enough. That's not our country. And we
Mm-mm.
are taking it back. Eric, I'm giving you an opportunity to take the high road. When they go low or when they go high, we go low, whatever it was that Eric Holder was saying. And
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, come on and tell us your platform. Tell us what you have in mind, what you're gonna do in Congress.
that's
I bet
right.
you can't because you
No.
haven't done much in Congress.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same old drivel of basically non-safe streets, um, abortion on demand, no
Yeah.
matter if the baby actually is alive and already
Yeah.
born, because
Yeah.
whacking babies, and I love it when
Yep.
people refer to it as whacking babies because that's what it is. I just just a little side note. I'm proud to say that I became a great. I guess am I great? Yeah, an uncle today. A great
There you go.
uncle. I'm a great uncle. I'm an uncle. Great uncle.
You are a
Great
really
uncle
great
today.
uncle.
I'm a great uncle again today, so it's always good to see life win
Yeah.
out. Life won out
Absolutely.
again today. Another baby was born. I know that just crushes the hearts of many people who would like to see no babies ever born again because
Mhm.
they actually do things like they breathe and they grow and they become productive citizens
How
here.
dare they?
That's right. Okay, here we are. I think I was just, and as I said, and that was a kind of a tangent too that I went on, Ryan. I want to end the show with where we kind of started off, and not the fact that we weren't live for 7 minutes when I did one of the best monologues I've ever done. It's good. It's kind of like
Yeah.
singing in the shower.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
was singing in the shower. It was the best performance. I wasn't like the guy. If you guys get an opportunity, go out and Google Richard on American Idol. This guy does a version of Journey's song "Don't Stop Believin'." It is well worth the time of watching it. This gentleman's a grassroots guy, just a normal guy, janitor, 20-something years, loved to sing and did a performance that was great. That was a little segue to
Mhm.
Richard, but because I too was doing the best I could do on the DPB show without actually being live on air.
Oh.
Ryan, I am going to work at not looking at you, but I have so many buttons down here that I got to kind of play with that I want to make
Yeah.
sure I'm hitting them, and comments too,
Yep.
because the commenters are there, but I want to keep eyes on the camera. And I don't have a fancy laptop to do that. I have my camera up here that I do that in. But this is important, folks. I mean, signs everywhere a sign. We need to get signs out.
Yep.
And we need to blanket the entire country with Trump 2024 signs. Look at how he's being received in Newport Beach, California. Look how he was received in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yep.
I mean, these are states that Biden is counting on. Look how he's being received throughout the nation and every people group that's out there. See how he did that?
Mhm.
We're all people. I don't have to identify who you are by color, race, ethnicity,
Yep.
sexual
We're all
orientation.
one. We're all one
None
people.
of that. That's right. We are the United States of America.
We're all
We are,
American.
and not only that, from our Judeo-Christian principles, we are the body of Christ. We are every part of the body counts. We are many parts, but we're all one body. And yes, I want to celebrate the uniqueness of people and heritage and culture.
Yeah.
I'm not going to celebrate sin, and that's not going to happen. And that's the thing I think that upsets and puts fear into the hearts of these progressive, liberal, Marxist radicals.
Mhm.
Is their days are numbered, and they know it. They see what's taking place. They see this movement. In fact, I talked about it last show where people are now coming out calling it a cult. Okay, well, I'm a cult member. You're obsessive. Okay, I'm obsessive. I am obsessive about
That's
Jesus
all they do.
Christ.
It's all they have.
And that's all they can do is criticize, because once again, they're not going to come out and talk about how we're going to secure our border,
Yeah, they have no
how we're going to become energy independent again, how we're going to stop all these wars the incessant war mongering that we get involved in, how we're going to build back better in schools, how we're going to build back better in our communities of our inner cities when most of the crime is being perpetuated by habitual criminals
and
under
it's only
the
going
age.
down because it's not being reported anymore because it's happening so often. So those numbers are skewing too.
Well, and bigger cities aren't even reporting the data. So now it's just, that's one way
This is what we become. This
That's
is where
right.
we're at.
But like I said, the key to this is you. It's
Mhm.
me. You know, we've got to stop acting as if this is something that is going to take care of itself, because it's
Yeah.
not.
Yep.
We've got to take it back. And if that's just a small group of us, I think it takes a big group. As I've said, I don't want it to be about us. I want it to be about him. I want the glory to go to God. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that's who we want to be again. And right now, I believe we're winning. That's why you're seeing J.B. Pritzker come on a stage and read a bunch of rubbish and untruths about who Donald Trump is. I mean, that's all you have is a bunch of a diatribe of coming out and calling him everything but human, and the fact he's a rapist and a serial blah 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 and a criminal and everything. This is what they're trying to do to build their base.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. We
He looks
understand.
presidential doing so.
Yeah, and he sure didn't look presidential because he was like me, couldn't keep his eyes up on the camera. But then again, I'm not you, JB Pritzker. I'm trying to deal with all the things to make sure we get the content out here to the people that matter most, which is our audience. And thank you once again for joining us here on the DPB show live Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll be back on Thursday. I have to tell you this before we go off air. It is a big weekend, so I'm going to plan on being here Thursday, but my daughter Hannah, who is also texting me, my conservative daughter Hannah, both my daughters are very conservative, but Hannah is a little bit more locked and loaded. Her sister has to be a little bit more tempered because of the position she holds as a nurse, a critical care nurse. But Hannah's all in. She's been on my radio show before. Hannah's getting she's having a wedding this Saturday. For those of you that have listened to my show know well enough that my daughter's already married, but they wanted to have a wedding, and they did the right thing. They got married because they were going to live together. That's what I believe in. If you're going to live with your spouse, you better be married. I don't know how it works out any better. You can do it Thursday. My wife says, hold on.
She's already made you
she's committed me. Well, I've got what people don't know is I've got some other responsibilities at the wedding venue where my daughter's getting married. So I'm trying to get everything in, but with God's help, all things are possible. I'm going to get through it. Even if I have to do live from the wedding venue, I will be doing the DPB show because we've done it before, Ryan. I can do it remotely.
Bring it on the road. Yep.
I was glad to be back in studio today, and last Thursday. Was I last Thursday or was I on the road? Whenever it was, it seemed like I was on the road. That's right. Both shows last week were in the studio.
What you need to do is like a DPB show tour, like other hosts do. Just go around the country, just do live tours.
I saw Tucker Carlson was doing that. So long story short, my daughter's getting married this weekend. So I'm going to do the best I can to be here Thursday. I'm pretty certain I'm going to be here live Thursday. But once again, at the end of the day, what's important is we have the ability to take back our country in 2024. So the first steps are making sure we let the world know that we stand behind truth and justice, and that is in the American way. And your wife is saying congrats to my daughter. Thank you, Amanda. But we can take it back, and the first steps is becoming involved, actionable steps, becoming a precinct committeeman. We went over that with Joanne Kneppmeyer, my friend, and also someone who's very involved in a group called Surus. We are about action. We are about getting involved, but the sign is the first public display that you can give your neighbors, your communities, and everyone who passes by that, hey, we've had enough.
Yep.
We've seen enough. We don't want any more of what has transpired in the past 3 years. But that's where we're going to leave it, Ryan. As always, anything big for your show this weekend or?
Nothing much. I'll probably just hit some of the headlines. Hunter Biden did face a guilty verdict, so I'll probably touch on that.
Hunter Biden being guilty of a guns charge versus the magnitude of the other things that he has done in his life.
Yeah, but
is
we now
like,
know the laptop is real as it came out this week too. So that's
well,
gonna
there is that. There are a lot of things that came forward, and the Nancy Pelosi thing, I think, is going to continue to evolve. Once again, thank you guys for being with us today. As always, I love you. I know Ryan loves you. But the bottom line is Jesus loves you more. Never forget that. We are here. We are here to perform for an audience of one, and that is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you. Until Thursday, I bid you all farewell.
Adios.